Welcome to MWEB's Entrepreneur Zone. I'm Paul Hobden. With me today I've got Tamara Aeschliman from Cut and Bake. Welcome, Tamara.
Thank you so much.
Tell us a little bit more about Cut and Bake.
Well, Cut and Bake is the first of its kind in South Africa. We're in the cookie dough business. We're obsessed with cookies and the experience of making cookies more than anything. So we provide ready-made cookie dough in the retail section and also in the catering industries, which is a new product at the moment, so that people can have the whole experience of freshly baked cookies at home, whether they're incredibly busy executives or they're stay-at-home moms and they don't have an idea to cook, or they do love and know how to cook, but they just don't want to go through the mess of it. So it's a really wonderful, exciting business. At the moment, it's an all-girls team. From all the women that work in the factory are from previously disadvantaged backgrounds, and we have a lot of fun, a lot of passion, and Cut and Bake. Yeah, you got to go get it.
And you have a very interesting history of how it started.
Yes, absolutely. My background's actually in conflict work. Then I had a very bad car accident, and I decided to bake a cake as a way to start earning an income because I couldn't physically do the work that I was trained to do. So that then just rolled naturally into Cut and Bake. And the quick line of that storyline is we sold a lot of the cakes and then ended up getting contracts with companies such as Carlucci's and Seattle Coffee Company, and then started a whole bakery off of that. And then decided to then open a restaurant, which was more of a really fancy patisserie and coffee lounge. And one of our customers, regular customers, he was moving, so he asked us to give him a solution so that his son could have our cookies at home every day in Durban. So I rolled up some cookie dough in a roll for him and just wrote Cut and Bake 180 degrees. And voila, there was Cut and Bake. It turned into, it grew its own life from there, yeah.
Tomorrow, you've now grown and you're in some of the big retailers in South Africa. How have you found dealing with the big retailers?
It's been a very interesting process, one of which I would say I've had to be quite sober. Due to the fact that there's a lot of red tape around items such as rebates and cash flow as to when they pay you, some of which 120 days from statement, not from invoice. So it can really quickly become something that takes your company under rather than takes you to an upscale, which is essentially the idea when you do these listings. So I've really been excited about it, moreover because we're largely now available to everyone, which is what we're wanting to do, because we want Cut and Bake to be like, milk and eggs in someone's fridge in the country. It's you open the fridge and you see Cut and Bake. It's something that's always there. So it's been a great opportunity for that. However, we're still very much in the teething process as everything's logistics. Yeah, so it's a very exciting process with retailers in South Africa due to the fact that they're going through a lot of changes. Our product is new in terms of the category. And so the relationship between us and them with our particular product has a lot of exciting opportunities, and we're actually able to carve new roads in front of us together. And so I'm really looking forward to engaging with them further and making this company a larger success with their assistance.
You mentioned that it's a new product category, and really it's something really new to the market. How have you gone about educating the market that this is available and how it works?
Interestingly enough, when I did my research and development, which was quite a lot, because I didn't understand how can something such as cookie dough, which I grew up obsessed over, how can it not be available? So surely I needed to have that question answered before I took the risk to do this as my business, and also hire people and risk their lives, because for me, when I hire someone, I give them my full commitment to their job. And so I need to have done the background work to ensure that the company can be a success before I start putting other people's lives, in my hands. So in terms of educating the public, I found that the larger companies, for instance, in the US, such as Nestle and Pillsbury, who do carry cookie dough and sell it, have their revenue is billions of dollars worth in the US, for instance. The reason they didn't come into South Africa is purely because they said they would have to educate the public too much on what cookie dough is. So that's been a fun process, one of which we're taking on from many different aspects. We're doing social media, we're doing one-on-one. We've opened up a new company called Pimp Biscuit, which gives a lot of interaction with cookie dough to the public. And that's also a learning process for us, finding out how to communicate, where to communicate. There's certain magazines which we get a lot of engagement from, which we are doing more work with. So it's not a straightforward answer. It's one of which we're continuing to learn and grow in, but it's a very important aspect because it is a new item to South Africa.
Tamara, while I think that making cookies is quite creative and that I'm sure there's quite a science to it, can you tell us a bit more about your processes?
Yes, absolutely. It's basically a science lab. It's been a wonderful process, and South Africa, I'm proud to say, is very strict in the food industry, and we score very highly on it. And basically, we have a factory space, and in that, there's very strict rules on what you can come in and out of the factory with. We have to take a piece of cookie dough from every single mixing we do, and we literally have to keep it on file, so to speak. We have to have all of our providers of our ingredients. We have to do tests with them every month. So for instance, spices can get certain diseases in them, and so we have to ensure that they do certain things in their factories before they even bring it to our factory to make sure that we're using it and it's safe. Then there's also, once it leaves our factory, there's of course the cold chain. We have to do things also where we have to use this gun thermometer to check all the different points in our factory 3 times a day, the temperature. We have to swab, our tables and hands. We have to test our scales. It's quite an intricate process. And it's very fun. I enjoy the detail of it. And it also gives comfort because we know that we have really looked out for every single detail, and that when it goes into your house, when it goes into your oven, and when it goes into your belly, you can smile not just from the flavor, but from what is actually in that. We know it's all good ingredients, and everything's really been looked and taken care of. Yeah.
Tell us about how you motivate your staff and develop your staff.
I very much live by the motto "Purpose with Passion" in everything that I do, and also with the concept of anyone who I engage with, I want to essentially light them up. And I always imagine, like with my restaurant, for instance, I imagine every customer that would come in turned into this light, and every person they passed turned into a light. And I would get really excited. I would look over the city and be like, okay, at the end of the day, how many customers have been through? Okay, and then how many people have we lit up, and how does that light up the city and throughout the country? And so I think I take that approach with my staff. I take that approach with my company's relationships. I take that approach with everything. I don't think there's a point in engaging if it's not something that's going to positively enhance someone else's life. Surely when there's problems and things, you must deal with it in a very serious way, but that can also be done in a positive way, one of which that is respectful. So I think we have that relationship with my staff. It's not my staff, it's our, we're a team. It's very much our approach, and we have, we always say we're creating magic everywhere we go with everything we do. We also do a lot of community work together. We have a program called the ABC program, which stands for A Better Chance. And all of our staff, we do Saturdays service together every month. So the second Saturday of every month, all of the staff, we go and we do community work, whether it's working at an orphanage or cooking at an old age home, or it usually is stuff that has to do with women and children and food. But I think there's a general spirit of family in the company, and it really reverberates through everything else we do in the business. Yeah.
Tell us a bit more about the store that you've opened.
Pimp Biscuit. It's a very fun concept, very engaging. Basically what we do is we show you the fun you can have with your cookie dough. So if you don't want to just cut and bake it, you can pimp it up. So it's at the waterfront, the V&A Waterfront's new food craft market, which is a stunning, stunning environment. And basically you choose one of our 5 base flavors, and then you can choose any 3 fillings, and we pimp your biscuit on site. So we have the cookie dough rolled out, we put your toppings in, and we roll it, smash it, cook it, and 9 minutes later you've got your own personalized Pimp biscuit. Yeah.
And who's it aimed at?
Everyone and anyone, really. I mean, who wouldn't want to pimp their biscuit? So I think the kids go crazy over it, really. And but I think, everyone really enjoys it because your imagination can go wild. And it takes 9 minutes, and you've got this exciting thing. And also, what we offer too, which is fun. If you don't want to send flowers to someone, you can actually order through us a Pimp biscuit. And we put a personalized message in the box from you to them with the Pimp biscuit that you've chosen, and you can send that through. So that's also quite a fun option.
So where to next for your businesses?
Where to next? I always have lots of ideas. So first of all, we want cookie dough in everyone's fridge, so we're going to keep on roaring with it until that happens. And Pimp Your Biscuit, we'd love to really roll that out as its own concept store and franchise it. I think that'll be really fun for people. And I'm not so sure. We'll see. I'm focused on the new family now, and we'll see what ideas come from that. Because I know my mom got into her profession from something I said to her as a child. So maybe something like that will happen to me, and then we'll be speaking in a few years' time, and it'll be on a subject we had never thought would have crossed our minds.
Tamara, that brings us on to the rapid fire questions. What's the best advice you've ever received?
To go after it and to embrace entirely who you are and what you do.
What's your best moment as an entrepreneur?
My best moment as an entrepreneur has definitely been seeing one particular woman really rise in her life. I hired her when she had a very young child and was living on the streets and getting her food by scratching in bins on the street. And she's now a very well-developed young lady and is actually hosting a television show in South Africa.
And the biggest mistake?
Absolutely is around not doing enough research before going full on into a new business. But something that I learned, and I do live by, is if you're going to fail hard, because then you learn at least as much as you can from that failure.
What quality do you look for in people that you work with?
I definitely look for integrity and spirit, because I believe that you can teach anyone anything, but you can't teach character.
And what does an entrepreneur need to succeed?
Absolutely passion, drive, and you need to have stick.
And what's the big inspiration for you as a small business owner?
I would say my largest inspiration is actually the women in my life. My grandmothers and my mother, they have all been trailblazers, and I continuously look over their stories and continue to take inspiration from that.
And what would you do differently?
I would do a lot differently, but then I would do nothing differently at all because it has brought me to where I am. I think for sure I can definitely do more research in everything that I do, and maybe a bit more work on the detail of numbers before diving into something. I think that's something that most entrepreneurs perhaps leg on because there's so much passion to just get things done.
What makes South Africa a good place to be a small business owner?
South Africa is it's perhaps one of the best places in the world, next to India. I think because there's just so much opportunity and there's so much hunger. Not literally hunger, which there is, but hunger, people want to work, and people are willing to try things, and I think that is what you need, and you need that in a business.
What keeps you awake at night?
Probably the people that I have that are working with me, my team. That's my drive at the end of the day, is continuing to grow the business so I can continue to enhance their lives as well as mine and my family's.
And what gets you going in the morning?
What gets me going in the morning? Probably my family. And that's a nice strong cup of coffee.
Thank you, Tamara. And thank you. We look forward to the coming weeks. We will bring you further South African entrepreneurs. I'm Paul Hobden. Thank you and goodbye.